The Dallas Cowboys have not made an NFC Championship game since 1995. It has been over 30 years since the Dallas Cowboys have won a Super Bowl and even made it past the second round of the NFL playoffs. Hello, everybody. My name is Logan Onyx, and welcome to the start of my most ambitious task yet. Saving my favorite sports franchise, the reason I started becoming a fan, my worst nightmare, my greatest foe, and my greatest detriment to my mental health, the Dallas Cowboys. Like every franchise mode here on the channel, I'm going to do my best to keep this absolutely as realistic as possible. That can obviously be hard at times, so I'm going to try my hardest to keep that in mind and keep the realism. But looking at the Dallas Cowboys, we start with Dak Prescott, and obviously, say what you want about Dak. There's a lot of mixed opinions on him. Certain people, he has a lot of haters, a lot of stands. I fall somewhere in the middle. I don't think Dak is a terrible quarterback like some people try to make him out to be. I think he is a very capable quarterback, but that contract is a lot. So my goal with Dak in this is we have 4 years to make this work, and we are going to try our hardest to make it in 4 years. That we have the contract restructured like real life. His cap hit came down for 2025, but that cap hit moving forward for the last 3 years is going to be absolutely ridiculous. This roster has a plethora of issues. Running back, we don't have a starting running back. Rico Dowdle is a pending free agent. CeeDee Lamb is here to build around as the receiving core. CeeDee is coming off having just an absolute amazing start to his career, 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He just got the big contract, and he has also been restructured to create some cap space as well for us to save in the offseason. So what we do with this team is going to be really just trying to do the best we can with free agency and the draft. I mean, we have a lot of holes to fill. The receiving core, it's basically CeeDee Lamb and me out there. Don't have a ton at receiver besides Jalen Tolbert, who is a solid young player, but we want more out of wide receiver too, and we do have some options in the upcoming NFL draft, and we will get to that later. But we're going to have to tackle all the problems with this roster. It's not going to be able to be fixed overnight. You got Jake Ferguson here, who is a very solid tight end, 82 overall. He's got that star development. We're hoping that he can become a better option for us going forward. We want him to develop. He had a down year last year because of Dak Prescott's unfortunate injury. If we want this team to hit its potential, we're really going to need Jake to step up. And then we have Tyler Guyton. Now, Tyler Guyton was drafted in the first round last year, did not have that great of a season. He does deal with a lot of penalty issues, a lot of holding penalties, a lot of false starts. He just had a down year, and that's one of the things in this series we're really going to have to lock into developing some of these offensive linemen, because the Cowboys have spent a lot of draft capital on the offensive line, whether that be third round, fourth round, fifth round picks. You can't take a first round draft pick in the offensive line every single year. But speaking of first round offensive linemen, Tyler Smith is an absolute menace at left guard, an absolute powerhouse with 99 strength. So we are going to be using Tyler Smith and running behind him the whole season. His 5th year option was accepted, so we are going to have a big contract to pay out to him coming up very, very, very soon. And then we look at Cooper Beebe, who was drafted last year, I believe, in the 3rd or the 4th round out of Kansas State. Very solid prospect, was I think PFF's number 2 graded run blocker as a rookie, as a center. So having a solid center to build around is very good for the interior of this offensive line, and we can even throw him at guard occasionally. Asim Richards is another young offensive lineman who has some potential, normal development, but nothing crazy. Terrence Steele sucks. I am not the biggest Terrence Steele stan, and watching him in real life give up so many sacks. Solid run blocker, but not typically. I want my tackles to be able to protect the quarterback better, and that contract is not doing him any favors. But then we get to Micah Parsons. Oh, Mr. Micah Parsons. He is about to get the absolute cash money bag driven up to his house. 99 overall. I mean, what else do I even need to say? Micah Parsons is an absolute dog, and he is going to be somebody we build around on defense, and we're going to build our whole defense around him. I mean, that dude is a game wrecker, playing edge, as a pass rusher, as a run stopper, everything. Marshawn Nealon was drafted last year in the second round. He's got the star development, 78 overall. We really need him to replace DeMarcus Lawrence's production as a run stopper here in Dallas. So we're going to really have to hope that he can take that next step. He's already 24 years old, so 78 overall, we're going to need him to take a jump. We got Sam Williams, who's coming off the ACL tear, 77 overall, provides some good depth at edge, is more of a pass rusher than a run stopper, but we're hoping to get some of his speed back coming off the edge and help with that defensive line depth this year. Osa Odighizuwa just got paid a big contract, and we have added that into the game and also done the restructure to make the cap hit like it is in real life. But Osa's a really solid player, good run, good pass rusher, not as much of a run defender, but he is a good pass rusher, but he's going to hopefully keep developing and become that defensive tackle that we need. Maurice Leofau last year was a rookie linebacker, had a good rookie year, very solid guy. We're hoping he can keep developing. The Cowboys linebackers are a very interesting part of this team. They have some young guys. A lot of them have been hurt. I mean, it seems like the Cowboys have been chasing the ghost of Sean Lee for like a decade when it comes to linebacker. Eric Kendricks, we decided to bring back on a 1-year, $7.8 million contract. He is going to be somebody to give us some depth in that linebacker core as we wait for DeMarvion Overshown to come back and play outside linebacker after having a really solid rookie year. But he's already torn his ACL 2 times in 3 seasons. So, Overshown's already starting to get into his mid-20s. He hasn't really had a chance to play that much football yet, but you can't deny his talent and his athleticism is something that we're going to have to rely on in the future going forward. Deron Bland is an absolute stud at corner. He's dealt with some injury issues, but he is the best corner on this roster. An 88 overall. He's got that star potential. He's going to be due for a contract coming up after next season. So, with Bland's contract, we're going to have some money to pay out to him and Parsons on this defense. So, but we're going to hope Bland continues to develop and hopefully can get past his injury issues. Speaking of injury issues, Trevon Diggs has been plagued with injuries the last 2 years. He's down to an 84 overall, still holds on to that superstar talent, but Diggs just hasn't been on the field a lot and hasn't frankly been as good as, we'd like him to be coming after getting paid. As soon as he got paid, he just became injury prone. So that's not good. Kalen Carson, solid rookie, dealt with some injuries. I actually met him in person, really cool guy. And then we got Donovan Wilson, who, I'm not the biggest Donovan Wilson fan. I think he absolutely blows in coverage, so I'm going to be looking to move off that contract as soon as possible to free up some more cap space. But the Cowboys just have a really interesting secondary, and, there's a lot of talent there. There's some young talent. Marquise Bell is one of them. He's coming off an injury. But this safety core has got some younger guys in it, like Marquise Bell and Wanye Thomas and players like that. But I really want to start looking towards younger players. Oh, and then we have GOAT Brandon Aubrey, the best kicker in the NFL. 99 kick power, 99 accuracy. Enough said. We should not have to worry about any kicking problems in Dallas. I'd hope not. Not with a 99 overall, 97 overall kicker with the kick power like that. So hopefully Aubrey can break the NFL record soon. Looking towards the NFL draft, we've got some very interesting names, of course. Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Cam Ward. We've got the whole draft class in here. And when it comes to the draft, really, for Dallas, running back and wide receiver are the 2 desperate needs for Dallas. The Cowboys just have neglected running back. They absolutely neglected it last year. And, Rico Dowdle was a good option, but he just wasn't a dynamic running back. But this year's NFL class, my goodness, the amount of running backs, whether it's Ashton Genty, Orion Hampton, or Caleb Johnson, Quinshon Judkins, Trayvon Henderson, there are a lot of running backs in this class. So we're going to definitely add one or maybe multiple. Travis Hunter is the projected number 1 overall pick. Just an absolute 2-way stud. Can't make him play 2-ways in the game, but you know what? If he struggles at corner, and maybe we'll flip him to wide receiver halfway through the season for another team, we can do that. Abdul Carter, Cam Ward, we've got this whole class in here. And, I'm really excited to see how this draft turns out with these real prospects because it is a really interesting class. It's kind of unpredictable. We don't know what teams are going to do. There are some quarterbacks farther down the board like Jackson Dart and Jalen Milroe who, could sneak into the first round or go in even as early as, the early second round. So there's some fascinating options when it comes to quarterback in this draft. And, Dallas has been in real life thinking about maybe trading or even drafting a quarterback to, sit behind Dak. And that's something that I'm definitely looking into doing, whether it's the draft or getting an established backup. Dak is injury prone and, he's not going to be here forever. So I don't know if we're going to invest heavily into quarterback coming up this season, but, we could be looking to add, a backup, a development project soon. The running back class, as on the screen you're seeing, it's just absolutely loaded. You got tons of studs. And, the argument being, would you take Ashton Genty in the first round if he's there, or do you just wait and get another guy in the second and take your receiver in the first? So that is an interesting argument we're going to have to think about. You know, I'm the type to where I think Ashton Genty is a generational talent. I would not pass on him if he's there at 12. It would kill me to do it, but you know, it's going to be a tough decision because there are receivers I really like in this class. But the thing is, when it comes to positional value, even if I think Genty's better than the receivers, I think I can get a better receiver and then still get a good running back going 1 and 2. So there's just so many options when it comes to the draft. And defensive tackle's another one which I really have to look at for Dallas. We need more one-tech depth, and especially just because Mozzie Smith has just been an absolute bust. So yeah, Matthew Golden, as you're seeing, really good guy. Terriotic McMillan, these receivers that we're definitely going to be looking at 12. I am not the biggest McMillan fan, at least in Madden. Receivers that are slow scare me as much as he is an athletic freak. I really like Emeka Ibuka, a guy who can run routes and has got good athleticism. So I like Ibuka and Golden and Burden a little bit better than I do McMillan, just because they're stupidly athletic and fast. And as you see Burden here, I mean, look at those numbers. Burden is an absolute athlete, elite speed, elite agility, everything. So this receiver class has got some good guys, farther down the board, the Noels of the board, the Higgins, Ted Johnson, Nick Nash, Savion Williams. There's some good guys you can get in the later rounds, but besides those top 3-4 receivers, I think there's a really big drop off. So getting to free agency now, Paulson Adebo is a corner who's coming off a big injury, and I don't think you can ever have enough corners, especially with the way Dallas has dealt with defensive back injuries. So I kind of want to cover us at DB, and Paulson Adebo, a guy, an 82 overall. He's only 26 years old. He's a guy I really think could benefit Dallas long-term, especially if we end up moving off Trayvon Diggs in a couple years to give us some depth there. So we're going to offer Paulson Adebo a contract. We're not going to give him a ton of money just because he's coming off of an injury, but we're going to be a little bit aggressive because we have a good amount of cap space remaining. So we cleared about $70 million and we offered contracts to a bunch of people, as you see right here. Justin Simmons, Dallas does never prioritize safety, and I am a believer that safeties matter. So, I want a good safety. Rob Havenstein, Dak needs better offensive line help. You give Dak time, he's really good. If Dak has to deal with pressure, it's just a nightmare. So I want to get Dak his protection, and I don't believe in Terrence Steele. Robert Spillane, it was an interesting option just because Dallas needs some linebacker help. So I thought he's a good linebacker, 82 overall. We can use that, just for some linebacker depth. Paulson Adebo we offered, and then Tytier Tart just for some depth at defensive tackle because I don't believe in Mozzie Smith one bit, and I don't want to rely on another rookie and Mozzie Smith behind Osa if there is an injury. So these are the first 5 free agents I'm really targeting here for Dallas, just because I think they're going to be really good options to help us out. As contracts, we're going to see who we get, and we end up getting all of them. Madden, that doesn't really happen all the time, but they all wanted to come here, had good interest, and we end up snagging 5 guys at positions of need, and that's absolutely massive for the draft because now I don't feel pressured, as a GM, to force a pick when I don't need it. Now I feel good about taking the best player on the board. I'm not going to force a pick for a defensive tackle or a corner in the first round. Justin Simmons, we inked to a 2-year contract. Havenstein, we're going to ink for 1 year. Robert Spillane, we're going to ink for 3 years at $10 million, which I think is really good value. And then we move to trades. Terrence Steele has become expendable with the signing of Havenstein, and you know what? I want to get that cap space, and I want to get off Terrence Steele. The Titans and the Texans are 2 teams that are interested in Steele, so we're going to trade Steele to the Titans for a 5th and a 7th round pick. Given his salary, I think that's pretty realistic and fair. The Titans are also going to have a bad offensive line and maybe a rookie quarterback, so them getting some tackle help to help their depth, I think makes a good amount of sense. Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson are also 2 players I want to move off of, clear their money, and clear some space for younger players on the roster. So we're going to look at trading him to the Saints for some mid-round picks and Keandre Miller. So that fills our hole as we grab a running back and just some mid-round picks since they don't need the running back and they want to get rid of those mid-round picks. So that gives us some extra picks in depth in this class. And as you see here, we're going to target some more free agents as we look at getting Will Fries and we do get Dante Fowler here, which he actually ended up, as I'm recording this, he signed in real life at Dallas, so that's kind of poetic. I did this before this even happened. But Fowler is a good pass rusher, gives us some depth. I went ahead and signed Jordan Hicks as well to give us just some more linebacker depth. And we get Will Fries to replace Zach Martin along the offensive line, who retired in the offseason. So we've rebuilt, give us some offensive line depth, give us some linebacker depth, and we grab some edge depth as well as we lose DeMarcus Lawrence to the Seattle Seahawks in free agency. So I think we've done a really freaking good job with using the money. I mean, this is what I wanted Dallas to do in real life. They cleared $70 million of cap and they didn't spend it at all. So with all that cap we cleared, we're going to get some good depth on this team, fill some needs. And, they might not be the best players or they might not make a ton of difference, but just having that depth there to not force us in the draft to have to take anybody crazy is really good. Just looking through some of the free agency just so you guys can see where some players go. Carlton Davis is a Giant. Devontae Adams goes to the Broncos. That'll be interesting to watch. Asante Samuel to the Detroit Lions. Interesting signing there. We get Splaney, Paulson Adebo. Keenan Allen is a Washington Commander, a really big ad. Rico Dowdle goes to the Cardinals. As you see, you're just going through different free agents. So definitely some big moves from teams as the Lions load up on cornerbacks and grab Stephon Gilmore. The Lions really trying to help. Hopkins goes to the Steelers and Alvin Kamara goes to the Saints. So the Saints lose both their running backs, but with the stacked running back class, they're probably going to take 2 in this draft, and this is the year to do it. And I just saw Cincinnati sign freaking Joshua Palmer. Their receivers are stacked. But now we look at Josh Downs. There's one position I haven't addressed yet, and that is wide receiver. We need some more receiver depth, and a guy like Josh Downs, I really like his stats. I like his speed. So we're going to look to swap him out with one of our receivers, and that's going to be looking at Jalen to do a straight swap with Jalen Tolbert. We're going to give up a little bit more. This might be overpaying, but I want to keep it realistic. We're going to give him a backup tight end, Jalen Tolbert, and 2 5th-rounders just to make this fair because Downs is a little bit younger. So I might have overpaid there, but I want to, don't want to fleece the computer or anything. So we're going to add Josh Downs, and here we are, the NFL draft. The Titans are on the clock. It's important. There's a ton of stuff happening. What will the Titans do? Will they take the quarterback? Will they take Shadur? Will they take Travis Hunter? The Titans, it's going to be close. But without further ado, let's get the 2025 NFL draft started. Let's send it out to Commissioner Goodell on the podium.
With the first pick in the 2025 NFL draft, the Tennessee Titans select Travis Hunter, cornerback, Colorado.
So Travis Hunter goes number 1 to the Tennessee Titans. They don't take their quarterback. They do what their GM said. They don't pass on a generational talent, and Travis Hunter is going to be an absolute stud. 79 overall, hidden development. You hope that maybe it's better than star. Maybe you get superstar or even superstar X factor there with Travis Hunter. What a move for Tennessee to grab the best player in the draft, in my opinion. He can play both ways. Just an absolute stud in Travis Hunter. Now it's going to be, who has the second pick? The Browns are going to be on the clock. Let's send it out to the commissioner for the Browns pick.
With the second pick in the 2025 NFL draft, the Cleveland Browns select Abdul Carter, defensive end, Penn State.
So Abdul Carter goes to the Cleveland Browns at 2. Both of the top teams are going to pass on quarterbacks. That is the most surprising thing. The Browns don't take their quarterback, and the Titans don't take a quarterback. So both quarterbacks are still going to be on the board now for the Giants to take. So is that going to mean Cam Ward to the Giants? As we look at Abdul Carter here, absolute stud to put next to Myles Garrett. That tandem is going to absolutely tear the league. But now with the Giants on the clock, with their options, what are they going to do? Let's send it out to the commissioner.
With the third pick in the 2025 NFL draft, the New York Giants select Cam Ward, quarterback, Miami.
There it is. The Giants get their franchise quarterback, the division rival. They grab Cam Ward, the best quarterback in the class, to hopefully set their franchise forward and finally move it in the right direction as they find their first quarterback since Eli Manning has departed. It's going to be interesting to see how his career goes down. He's got good throw power. He's got some good stats. Should be very interesting to see what Cam Ward does in New York. The Patriots are going to grab Mykel Williams. They grab a pass rusher. They don't take a receiver, which I think is really interesting, but they're going to grab the pass rusher from Georgia there to help their defense. And number 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to take Mason Graham, the best defensive tackle in the class. Jacksonville is going to bolster their defensive line. Graham, very solid player, 77 overall, 93 strength. He is going to be a problem in the league for a long time. But now, the Las Vegas Raiders are on the clock, and a quarterback is still there. And I cannot believe what is about to happen. Let's send it out to the commissioner.
With the 5th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Las Vegas Raiders select Shedeur Sanders, quarterback, Colorado.
Showtime, Shedeur Sanders is going to Vegas. I could not think of a more prime place for Shedeur Sanders and all the spotlight to go to the Vegas Raiders. Absolute cinema here at the 2025 NFL Draft. So the Raiders get their quarterback in Shedeur Sanders, who, like him, love him or hate him, he's got talent. We will see if that talent lends to a successful NFL career, but it should be a very interesting career to watch nonetheless. And now here at pick 12, as you see what happens in front of Dallas, the receivers are on the board still besides Matthew Golden, who goes to the Saints, but we have some options. Josh Simmons gets selected by the Jets. Very solid tackle, could be regarded as the best tackle in the draft, but Matthew Golden going early hurts. 97 speed for Matthew Golden. Those agility stats, speed stats are absolutely mind-numbing. He is an absolute burner. Matthew Golden to the Saints. Hell's going to help the Saints a lot in their offense. But here we go. The decision that I did not want to have to make. Ashton Jeanty is there at 12. Probably the second or third best prospect in the class, but obviously a running back. What do we weigh positional value for running back? This is such a deep running back class, and the Cowboys need a receiver desperately. Teraka McMillan is there, who's not my favorite prospect, but cannot deny the talent there. Besides the speed, an absolute insane 50-50 ball jump ball guy, can be the next Des Bryant for Dallas potentially. But at receiver as well, we have Luther Burden, who absolutely torched the combine and boosted his draft stock unlike real life. An absolute speed burner, the agility, the speed. It is what I think this offense in Dallas could potentially need. I mean, he's got the burning speed. It could be everything Dallas needs in terms of just offense and playmaking. Emeka Ibuka is also there. Great, good speed, good route running, good everything. The more I thought about this, the more it was just a really tough decision. I like Ibuka. I like Burden. McMillan's a great prospect. I like Jeanty. You know, it is just such a hard decision to make for my first big decision, I think, in this franchise, because this pick could determine the way the franchise goes for the post-Dak Prescott era even, you know. Like this receiver we get or this running back we get could be a guy that's here for the next decade. Looking at the potential trade options if we wanted to trade back, which is something that I think could be definitely an option for Dallas in real life. There's some trades here. I'm not a huge fan of all of them. I mean, we could stack picks, but a lot of these picks are for the next draft, and we need picks this year. We need impact players immediately. So I don't think I want to trade out of the spot. I want to leave this to fate, and I want to leave this pick to be, you know, I want to take a player here. There's just too many good players to pass up in this draft. And after talking it over with the scouts and the owner, Jerry Jones, I have made up my mind, and we're going to select a player here. We're going to put that card in, and we're going to send it out to Commissioner Goodell.
With the 12th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Luther Burden III, wide receiver, Missouri.
Luther Burden is a Dallas Cowboy. He was ranked in number 9 in true value. Get him at 12. Absolutely athletic specimen is Luther Burden. What a pick. And I mean, there's a lot of other receivers, and we could have taken Jeanty, but it's Madden, and I know how much speed matters in this game, in the sim. You cannot pass on that guy, and look at that. 96 speed, 95 acceleration, hidden development, 95 change of direction. This dude is going to be an absolute problem in the open field. The offense, I can imagine him down the field juking people out. It's going to be crazy. But as we skip ahead in the first round, you'll notice we're almost at pick 20, and Ashton Jeanty has not gotten drafted yet. I don't know what these teams were thinking. He's regarded as a top 3 player in this class. I know running backs don't matter to some people, but I'm looking here, and we're going to make a phone call. We're going to get on the phone now. we're going to do something. I mean, I just can't let him fall no more. Ashton Genty is an absolute stud. And you know what? Screw it. We're going to go try to trade up and get him. That dude is the number 6 player in the class, the best running back. We need a franchise running back. And I want to run the damn ball. And that dude can absolutely play. The fact that he fell to 20, I don't know if he had a gas mask Laramie Tunsil situation happen for him to fall this far. Maybe teams just don't value running back, but I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. So we're going to get on the phone with the Denver Broncos right now, and we're going to make a trade, or attempt to make a trade. We're going to give him our second, which is a lot. It's a big capital to give him that second, but that's going to be what we're going to have to do to come up in this. We're going to have to give him probably a second and a third in this draft, maybe second, a fifth. And you know what? We're going to give him a third next year. I think I want to do next year's third because we still need a third in this draft, but a 2, 3, and a 5 is a lot of capital to move up 15 spots, or about 20 spots from the second to the middle of the first round. Some might say I'm overpaying a bit, but you know what? With the context of who's on the board right now, you're going to have to pay a tax to move up. And also in this draft, it's well known that a lot of people, if you trade back, you might not get as much in this draft just because of the way the draft is. But there it is, a 44, 133 this year, and a third next year, a second, third, and a fifth to come up to 20 for Denver. And we give them a backup corner to help their needs, and they are going to accept it. Boom. What a trade. The Dallas Cowboys have just traded up, and wow, we could be adding our just next great young running back wide receiver duo in the NFL. You know what? Put that pick in, send that card in, get him in Dallas.
With the 20th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Ashton Genty, running back, Boise State.
The best running back. He was number 1 in true value. Ashton Genty falls all the way to 20, and we're going to trade up and snag him. The Dallas Cowboys have potentially just saved their franchise because of me getting the future Pro Bowler at receiver and maybe a future Hall of Famer at running back. Ashton Genty, an absolute freaking stud here at number 20 in the 2025 draft. And he's an 80 overall hidden dev running back. And you know what? We could have waited and probably gotten a hidden dev back in the second round. But you know what? We're really just gonna bank on if he's not, he's gotta be superstar talent. You know, I don't think he's just a star development. I think he's gonna be superstar, and if we're lucky, even superstar X factor. I think he is one of the best players in the class, and those stats are very well rounded for a back. And backs develop super fast. And an 80 overall, he is gonna be an absolute stud. So you know what? I am just ecstatic with the way this draft has gone. As you see, Terry McMillan is a 77 overall. He goes to Pittsburgh. So receivers going to dueling franchises here in the first round. Terry McMillan, great player. I think he's still going to be good. The speed is a little low at 88, but you know, if he can overcome that speed and use his body, I just didn't want to bank on a guy who's not a burner. But I know how well in Madden speed kills. So speed, I think, is going to be a huge difference maker, and that's why I went with Burden. Emeka Egbuka with 94 speed, 91 excel. He's very similar to Burden, not as fast and agile, but probably has better route running right now, which that's kind of what he's known for. Egbuka is a route runner. Tyler Warren goes to the Colts. Good pick for the Colts. Tyler Warren's a really good tight end. He's going to be, hopefully, a stud for them as well. Just a lot of good players in this first round at receiving positions. And here we go. The second round has come, and as you can see, what we're looking at in the second round, where some players go, there's some interesting names, as you can see there on the board, and we're going to talk about some of those real quick. What did the Cleveland Browns just do in this draft? They get Abdul Carter in the top 5. They wait till the second round, and they get a hidden development quarterback in Jalen Milroe, who's got a cannon. The accuracy is absolutely terrible, but he is a absolute athletic freak. 93 speed. Could Cleveland take notes from their AFC North rival in Baltimore and develop Jalen Milroe into the next Lamar Jackson, dual threat type quarterback? That's going to be something to watch here in this franchise mode. Very interesting. Jackson Dart goes to Seattle as Seattle gets their hopeful future quarterback. 70 overall, but he's got the hidden development, 91 throw power, We will watch Jackson Dart and Jalen Milroe and see if they can become anything in the NFL. So good on Seattle for getting their guy. The Saints, after get the second best running back in the class, 79 overall, Omarion Hampton. So you know what? He wouldn't have even made it to 12. So you know what? Getting Genty, I think, was the right decision there. And Quinton Judkins goes to the Bears as well, high in the second round. They get a hidden dev, 78 overall running back. So, we had some running back options, but they all went right before the Cowboys pick. Trayvon Henderson goes after the Cowboys and goes to the Colts as a 77 overall. And then Caleb Johnson. So Denver trades down. They trade away from Genty, but they pick up a 78 overall hidden dev running back and grab an extra second rounder as well. So you know what? I think that trade ended up working out well for Denver because they traded back, got the extra picks, and they grabbed Caleb Johnson, who looks like a very well-rounded, power type running back. So, but who else did they get? With the pick. So they're going to add Landon Jackson in the second round as well. So they trade back and get a hidden defensive end, and they get Johnson, the running back. So I think that trade was very fair for Denver. They got two really good players. But Genty versus, Johnson, who's going to be a better back in their career? That's something we're going to have to pay attention to. Now for Dallas here in the third round, I want to add a defensive tackle. You can never have enough DT depth. There's a couple guys I'm looking at here, Marion Lott and Phillips. I really like Jordan Phillips in real life. I watched a lot of Maryland games, and he is a very solid player. I like the age. I want a defensive tackle. Now that we're getting in the middle rounds, I like to lean towards guys who are younger. He has elite strength, good speed with elite strength. That's good measurables athletically for Jordan Phillips, and he's only 21 years old. So, I think we can bank on a guy who's maybe not going to play a lot this year. I want the younger guy who's going to have more time to develop. So, and he looks like a solid player. I mean, either way, Lott looks good as well. He's second round talent, third round talent for sure. But, he is 23, and he wouldn't get a lot of playing time until next year when he'd be 24. So, you know what? I think I like Jordan Phillips, and we're going to take him here. And Phillips is going to be B+. He was 64th in true value, 76. Good strength for Jordan Phillips, and he's going to have the hidden development, which is huge. So 96 strength for Jordan Phillips. He's a run-stopping defensive tackle. That's absolutely what we need here because Mozzie Smith ain't doing that, I tell you that. So hopefully Jordan Phillips can sit this year, play a little bit, but doesn't have to play a lot, and we can start his development. But with that hidden development, he's going to develop fast. Hopefully. So hopefully in a couple years, we'll have a good defensive tackle in the mid-80s. Devin Neal, running back hidden, goes to the Chargers. This running back class is absolutely juiced. Dylan Sampson with 97 speed goes to Pittsburgh. So Pittsburgh gets their running back and their wide receiver duo. Good for them. Damian Martinez goes to Jacksonville. So they add a nice little running back in the third round as well. Now we're getting into the fourth round now. Here, that pick we acquired from the Saints. So that's a huge pick that we got in that trade, just to give us a little bit of flexibility here in the draft to add a player. So, just looking at some guys that we could potentially add. We could add a quarterback. That is definitely something that we could do. There are some guys here that I do like. Kyle McCord is a guy that I really do believe in, and even in real life, I think he's going to be a solid player. You got the Dylan Gabriels of the world, Tyler Show from Louisville. There are some quarterbacks this year that on day 3, which we're on, I think can be solid players. So, the problem here is with going quarterback is Dallas just needs so many things. And is it worth it to spend a fourth rounder that we acquired on a quarterback and not go help our, get another corner, get another linebacker, things like that? You can never have enough of these guys on your team at the depth positions like defensive line, offensive line, wide receiver, corner, things like that. And when we start looking at cornerbacks, there's a guy I really like. As you see, he's scouted. He has second round to third round talent. And that's going to be Tommy Hill. Tommy Hill, 22 years old, from the University of Nebraska. He was one of the guys that got scouted 100%, and they have second to third round talent on him, which is really good for being in the fourth round. So I think he's looking like the best player on our board for sure. If we look at some safeties here, we could add a safety too. That's something I want to look into as well, potentially adding a safety. But, at the end of the day, I think we just take the guy that's 100% scouted, Tommy Hill. He looks really solid. He's got a really, really good change of direction and agility and stuff. He's a good zone cover guy, and I like the versatility he has because I think he really could be a good safety. With that elite agility and acceleration, I think he could be a really good safety. So we're going to take Tyomie Hill. He was ranked 70th, and we got him at 125, so that's going to be a good thing. He has good zone coverage. He's faster on tape, and he's going to have the hidden talent as well. Big thing. I like the agility, 91 speed. I think that this guy could eventually turn into a free safety, and I like the flexibility because if we do lose Trayvon Diggs, he can slide in there at corner if Kalen Carson doesn't pan out. But that's a guy I really could see playing some free safety for us as a good zone corner guy. So back here in the 5th round, looking at quarterbacks once again, we could take, is this the round where we take our development quarterback? Riley Leonard's there, Dylan Gabriel's there, but you know, I still think it's too early to draft and develop a quarterback. I would almost want to do that when Dak has 2 years left, and then we get 2 years of development, 2 years of cheap, and then we have to pay. There's a few running backs here as well. Bichelle, how do you say his last name? Tootin is good player. He is an absolute track star. He 4.29, the fastest running back at the combine. Just an absolute track star. He can't really go side to side, but he's a straight line speed running back. So if we wanted a guy to throw the ball to and just have him go, you know, getting a track star type running back could definitely be something that could help us out tremendously. Isaiah Bond is a guy here in the 5th round I really like. His stock has fallen a lot in real life and in this game just because his route running isn't that good. He had some drop issues at Texas, but you cannot deny the athleticism. I mean, the dude is an absolute burner. He's super fast, super agile. He's got really good measurables at receiver. There's some other receivers I like too, like Savion Williams, the big body guy. I think Jalen Noel is really good as well. I'm surprised he's still here. I think in real life he's probably going to be a 3rd rounder. It's another really solid player, good body control, good. Only solid speed though, which I don't like taking receivers that are slow. But Savion Williams is also solid player. He's more of that jump ball type of receiver with some good athleticism. But you know what? I really like Isaiah Bond. I think that's who I want to pick here. You know, you just can't pass. I don't think we pass on a guy with that type of athleticism. Torrey Horton's another guy from Colorado State who I think is going to be pretty good in the NFL with that good, those good measurables. But Isaiah Bond, I mean, those testing numbers are ridiculous. For him to still be here in the 5th round, you take shots in the dark. While he's not a shot in the dark per se, we're gonna take him here, and you know, the value was there. 58. He fell in this draft just because of the catch issues. He's only normal depth, but holy mother of pearl! 98 speed, 98 acceleration. That dude is going to be our kick and punt returner. Kevontae Turpin replacement right there, but that is a guy who, if we can develop him and hit on his talent and get him to star, watch out for Isaiah Bond. I mean, that dude could be an absolute elite player. Trevor Etienne is still here in the 6th round. He's the 2nd fastest running back, and you know what? We'll just take another guy for speed, because you know what? That's the theme of this draft. Speed, speed, speed. He's a good receiving back too, so we can use a guy who can catch the ball out of the backfield. He's got good hands and good speed. So you know what? Throw some screens to him, and you know what? That could be very solid to have a guy behind Genty that can catch the ball and run some routes and stuff like that. So there's our draft. Or actually, no, we still got a 7th rounder. Whoopsie, sorry about that. I forgot we had a 7th rounder. And you know what? We're taking a punter because we don't have a punter. So Burn Tip was the 23rd true value. Burn Tip is him. The Burn Tip punter god is here. Hopefully he's got some good kick power and stuff, can boom some punts. 95 kick power, that's what I'm talking about. Pin those motherfuckers deep. But anyway, here we go. Luther Burden, Genty, Phillips. I really like this draft class. We added at the premium positions 2 wide receivers who were fast and can make plays, 2 backs, a defensive tackle, and there he is, Luther Burden, 78 overall. Just a really solid player. Very excited to see what he can do. He's got good speed, good acceleration. The route running will get there. I'm not really worried about that yet, but right now, I just want to get the ball in that dude's hands and let him go make plays, because you can't coach athletic. I can coach and develop, route running. You can't develop speed and athleticism. Ashton Genty, an 80 overall, as you saw earlier. I mean, to get him at 20th in this draft, I mean, we're going to make teams regret that for the next 10 years, hopefully. If we can get 10 good seasons out of Genty for this franchise mode until we end it at some point, that's all I care about. But Genty for the next at least 6 to 7 years is going to be the absolute GOAT at running back, I hope. Hopefully he develops very quickly. Jordan Phillips, 72 overall. He's going to be our backup for sure this year behind Tart and Osa, but a really good player to grab and develop. You know, I think he's somebody who could develop into a very solid player. We need him to become like that run stuffer in the middle. So, you know, that's what we're going to bank on. And I really hope that he can, you know, give us something in from a run stopping standpoint, because the Cowboys have really struggled with stopping the run in previous years. Tayomi Hill's going to be a 73 overall with 91 speed, 93 play rec. The zone coverage is 74. This guy definitely seems like a guy who could be a safety. So you know what? We'll probably end up moving him to safety. But Isaiah Bond is the guy I'm really excited about. 98 speed and 98 excel is just ridiculous. To get him in the 5th round, they passed on him because the route running is just not great. The medium route 65, 70 deep route, but the short route, short area quickness could be very good. We just got to work on this dude's route running, and he could be an absolute stud. He had some catching problems and drop problems, but you know what? You can't coach athleticism, and that dude is an absolute track star. And even if he's our 3rd, 4th receiver for 4 or 5 years, you know what? Having that speed on the team is important to keep defenses honest. Trevor Etienne actually ends up being a really big steal here in the 7th round. 73 overall back with 93 speed. Normal dev, but to get him in the 7th round, wow, what a good pick for us. And as a receiving back, 74 catching with 74 short route, that dude's going to be a very solid guy to have in the passing game for Dak, and have a guy that he can throw screens to, or just have some short routes in the red zone. Take some pressure off Ashton Genty. So here in free agency, we're going to sign a tight end. We don't really have any tight ends because we traded Schoonmaker away, so we're going to grab Mo Alley Cox to be the backup to Jake Ferguson. Marcus Epps is coming off of an injury, but we're going to sign him anyway because he'll be back probably a few games into the season. He'll just be some good depth. Anyways, guys, that's the first episode of the Cowboys franchise. Just going to run through some of the draft rounds now so you can see them as I do the outro. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. What a way to start the video. Go through free agency, get a bunch of players, do the whole draft. I know it was a lot. It took me probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks to edit this video. There was so much cutting and editing I had to do for this video with the sound effects and the commissioner doing all his stuff. So, you know, I had a blast making this. I'm looking forward to getting this Cowboys franchise here up and running for y'all. Let me know what you think. Give me any suggestions you want to see for the franchise mode. Any players you want me to target, any trades you want me to do, any just suggestions for sliders, settings, anything like that. Anyways, guys, I really appreciate the love on the Toronto Blue Jays video. Appreciated that. We got like 200 views or whatever, a good amount of comments. Gonna be dropping the next episode of that fairly soon after this. But as always, guys, keep watching, keep supporting, keep liking and subscribing. I hope you all have a blessed rest of your day. And you know what? We're going to get this franchise mode rolling and hopefully win some damn playoff games eventually for this franchise. Anyway, guys, love you to pieces. I'll see you later.